Well, what's up, guys and gals? Welcome back to another Friday Live at 3. And yes, I'm still in my garage. We're that close to getting our new connection at the studio. It turned out they ordered the wrong, I think it was a fiber connection inside the IDF cabinet. So, looks like we're doing at least one more from my domicile. Like I said last week, I'll be ready to get out of this place and get back in the studio, start doing it there again. Well, how's everybody's week been thus far? It's been boring around here. My wife's been in Montana for the last 10 days, and she's flying back in. As a matter of fact, she'll probably be getting on her last jump up in Atlanta to Albany in probably about an hour. And as soon as I finish up with you fine people, out the door I go so I can go retrieve her, ready for her to be home. So what else going on this weekend? Well, it's my understanding that the Supercross series with PRMX is continuing. This time they're down in Daytona. Nathan is not there this weekend, so he sent Taryn and Mike in his place. It takes two people to pull off what he does by himself. So if you're down at Daytona, go hit them up, and they can load you down with some Partzilla swag. And if you're interested in watching the race, I think it will be streamed on Peacock as well. So go check it out. All right. Hank is not with us today, as he had a bit of a tumble yesterday on his bike, and I mean bicycle. Evidently, he rung his bell pretty hard, so he is MIA. So Nathan and I are going to have to cut our way through all this without his assistance. So if it's a little rocky, you can just blame us. So let's swing around and see what questions were sent in that we had to dig up. So we'll just see how this goes. And no, I did not have time to research this time. So this is just going to be right off the hip. William Miller had asked, I've got a Polaris Turbo XP 2017 and we just rebuilt it. It idles good, but as soon as we give it gas and then let off the throttle, it dies. What could be wrong? More than likely, you probably didn't do anything wrong with the rebuild itself. So this sounds like maybe a missed connection on one of the sensors, and the one that I would immediately go check is the connection to your idle air control valve, because what you're describing is what it would do if it was unplugged, and it probably is giving you an error message, or a check engine light has come on, because if that thing's unplugged, then it should throw a code for it. Now, however, you go in and you pull an engine out and you've got everything scattered everywhere. Sometimes things can get damaged. So once again, I'd go straight to that idle air control valve, crank it up, unplug it, and see if it changes anything. Then if it remains the same, then more than likely that's where your problem is, either in the device itself, the sensor itself, or the wiring going to it, because it is easy, or it happens from time to time when you pull out an engine. You may shift it a little too hard, maybe pinch a wire, and you can't tell that you've broken it because it didn't snap it in half, but it hit it hard enough to actually break the conductors inside of that wire. I've had it happen to me. So that's where I would head first. Mark Grafston, I have a 2006 Yamaha Venture. What is the correct clearance on the valves? I love your videos, by the way. Many thanks. Well, you're very welcome. If memory serves, on the Venture, on the intake side, it's going to be in between 6 and 8 thousandths. And on the exhaust, it's a little bit looser. I believe that goes from 8 to 10 thousandths. So double check that though. It's been a little while since I've looked at the specs on a Yamaha Venture. The things I can keep up with and the things that I absolutely can't. Uh-oh. Moving trucks coming after me. No, it's probably UPS. If you're like, I know you're probably like me. Goes well because you order a lot of stuff online, maybe from Partzilla. I get a delivery just about every day. Fortunately, my wife's been gone for the last week or 10 days, so a bunch of stuff has come in. It's kind of stacked over here to the right. All right, back to business. Tom Stay, my 2010 Brute 750 sometimes will get stuck and not shift in high or reverse. And in that shift, it will go forward or backward, won't go forwards or backwards without giving throttle. Why is it doing this? First thing that comes to mind is that idling a little bit too high. So I wonder if that's what's causing your problem. If it is idling where it's supposed to be, then that tells me that the either the secondary or the primary sheave is not in its fully relaxed position, and it's trying to pull the machine and not letting the gears or the transmission shift. So if your RPMs are right, then you're probably not in a position with the sheaves for it to do a smooth shift because there's tension that it's applying to the transmission, more than likely. How do you fix that? You go through and either replace whatever bushings may be worn or mainly just clean it out. They could have so much crud and belt material that gets worn off that it may be gumming it up where it doesn't want to move fluidly. So that's where I would go check. Stefan Fun, what is the largest piston you can put? There's always one about a 400EX. What is the largest piston you can put in a 400EX? I've seen several 426 kits. I've even heard of a couple of 440s. Can you go past that? Well, maybe, but that cylinder wall is going to start getting thinner and thinner. And I'm not sure that I'd want to bore it much past a 440. If you're really needing to get that much more power out of the machine, you may end up having to stroke it to get the kind of displacement that you want. But if you do that, you're probably going to lose a few RPMs because you're increasing the stroke distance. And I'd rather have a higher revving machine personally. But hey, you want a little bit more grunt instead of top end, then go ahead and head that direction. Just a personal preference. But I think I would hold steady at 440. There's a bunch of different kits out there that aim toward that number. So I don't think I'd want to try to reinvent the wheel by going any larger. All right. Well, that catches me up from last week. Let's see if anybody has any questions today. Because honestly, I figured it was going to be a slow day today because it is beautiful outside, especially down here in Georgia. So it would not surprise me if everybody's out there playing with their toys or working on them, getting them ready to play. All right. Since I don't have Hank here, I'm just going to jump into the chat and see what's going on. Let's see if we've got any questions. Only a few. See, I was right. All right, Abul Torres Val, hello from Texas. How's it going out there? I would imagine you're having the identical weather that we're having over here in Albany. Got a thumbs up from Abdullah Muhammad and then Kyle Reese. Hi, John. Thank you for answering my questions. Are you able to check the input shaft? Are you able to check the input shaft bearing if that requires replacement without removing the engine and checking behind the clutch basket? All right, okay, then you told me. And this is for a motorcycle, a '05 YFC R6. Thanks for your advice. I don't think you're going to be. You can get to it without removing the engine, but you are going to have to pull that outer cover to get behind the clutch basket to get to that bearing to see what kind of shape it's in. But no, do you have to pull the engine? No. Just be warned when it comes time to mount that or remount that clutch basket cover that has the shift arm on it. That can be quite a pain in the butt. Um, Bit of advice: lean the machine over when you go to do it. Let gravity help you on that one, because good grief, when I rebuilt or built that R6 engine, we did a 636 kit on it. That just it almost got to me. Just getting that was the hardest part, was putting that stupid clutch cover back on. So you've been warned. If you want, just for fun, go back and watch that video. I think you can actually see the tension in my face and my teeth. I was glad to see that project done, no doubt. Applejacks 971. Regarding A-arm bushings, U joints, etc., is there a reason to buy the expensive ones compared to the cheaper or more affordable ones? If you're talking about OEM, which is typically more expensive, or going with ones from All Balls, I don't think there is. I'm a big OEM guy, but especially the All Balls company, they put together a kit, or usually they have kits to where you need to rework your A arms on whatever machine. They're going to have the bushings, the seals, everything ready to go. And a matter of fact, when I did the A arms on the YXZ, because I ordered new ones, and of course I had to build them up, I went with the all ball setup, and it really has worked well for us so far. So, is there a downside, or a downside to that? I don't think so. I can easily recommend that company. They've really got some quality equipment that is not going to break the bank. So, I don't see any problem with going with that. All right, Abimal. Hey, John, where do you place the clutch arm shaft? All the way clockwise or all the way counterclockwise? All right, you can watch the video, man. If I remember correctly, it is counterclockwise, and then when you actually push it down, it comes around. But it, if I remember correctly, you can spin it around all the way one direction or another. The trick is to start it on that first tooth as it engages that pull arm in front of the clutch basket itself. Yeah, yeah. Go watch the video though. We got really focused in and detailed when I did that on that 636, so I can walk you right through it there. Um, oh, and then you switched over to it's a 2017 YFC 450R. I believe it's going to be the same for that as well. It's going to be pulled all the way back. I thought you were talking about the R6. See what happens when Hank's not here? Everything just goes off the rails. But I believe it's going to be the same counterclockwise back, and then it'll catch it as it's going in. And I'm pretty sure we also did a clutch on my son's 2009 YFZ 450R. Pretty sure we did. So go check that one as well, and I can walk you through it on there. Okay, Noisy Boy, what do you think of the CRF 450X09? How is the durability? I like the 450X lineup, and the nine's a good year for them. It's basically just it's just a toned down 450R for the most part, with a little heavier flywheel, and plus it has a coil in there, or a set of coils, to where it can generate electricity for the lighting system, a little bit more robust. If you know me, I've got a background, a little bit of motocross, but I really had the majority of my fun in playing in the woods, and that's where the 450X really shines. I mean, there for a while. I did run the just a regular motocross bike in the woods, but that was a lot of work. It was really tough on the more technical sections. So I had I known what I know now, I would have gone with the X version instead of the R every single time. All right, looks like we've got a couple more. Robert Yao, hey there. I have a Kawasaki Versys 1000 2023. My front brakes keep squeaking even though I clean them. Do you have any tips to stop the squeaking noise? Well, it's the same tips that I would use for a car. Um, what you're hearing more than likely, the squeaking is on the back side of the pad, in between the pad itself and the caliper piston. That's probably where it's squeaking. And they make I don't want to call it a grease, but it almost feels and looks like a grease. It's more like a paste that you can put on the back side of the pad. Just don't get carried away with it, because the last thing you want to do is have it work around to the other side, and then you're not going to have any brakes, or a very reduced amount of braking power. So I would look into the anti-squeak stuff just in the automotive world, and just apply it to it's just a braking system. So there's no reason why it wouldn't work on that. The only other ones that come to mind is if you have racing brakes, so because they have a lot of usually metal in the braking material, the brake pad materials, and we don't care if it squeaks. It makes the car stop faster. All right, Abimail, thank you, John. I'll watch the video. No, not a problem. That's why we do these things. Applejacks, hope Hank is doing well. Thanks for taking the time to be here for us. Cheers from Nebra. Well, glad we were here to help. And yes, I will be glad when Hank's back in the saddle again and back up to full strength. Abimail came back one more time. What could be the problem when I'm pressing the clutch on my YFC450R, and when I put it into gear, it wants to go, but it stalls and turns off? Are you saying the engagement is making it kind of stumble? It's not a very smooth engagement of the clutch. If that is the case, then I would probably Nebraska. Okay, I would probably look at my cable, the clutch cable itself, see if that needs replacing, because it sounds like it may not be very fluid in its release, so to speak, not very smooth. So that could be what's going on with it. All right, guys. Well, it looks like I've caught up with you, and guess I can go ahead and hang it up, change shirts, and had to go extract my wife from that large metropolis known as Albany Airport. We have one gate. It's kind of a joke. Well, everybody, if you've got the time, go check out the Supercross this weekend. Once again, they are in Daytona, and if you happen to be at that event, go check out our team there, Taryn and Mike, and they will set you up with a swag pack at the PRMX. I don't want to call it a tent. It's a lot more than that. It's pretty easy to find. It's a very large semi with, I think they've got 5 very talented riders under the PRMX banner. So I'm sure they'll be signing autographs and giving away all kind of swag packs there. So go check them out if you're around. All right, kids. Just want to say thanks for swinging by, spending a little time with me this afternoon. Hopefully, we'll get things finished up at the studio and be able to be back in just our normal swing of things. And hopefully, Hank will be back at his computer so he can guide us through these live events. Well, once again, everybody have a great week, a great weekend, a great week. God willing, we will see you next Friday at 3. Y'all take care.